In Project 4, we're going to take a look at how we can insert hyperlinks, and in addition to inserting hyperlinks, we will take a look at how we can modify them once they've been inserted, and then also we'll look at how we can remove them if we no longer need them. A hyperlink allows you to navigate to a web page that's out on the internet or to a specific location in the workbook. So if you're in one workbook and you want to go to a different sheet or even a different cell within the same worksheet, you can do that. You can also use a hyperlink to display a different workbook, allow it to open up a file in a different program, like if you wanted to show something in Word or another application. You can also have a hyperlink create a new document. And finally, you can have a hyperlink link to an email address. So a lot of different things that you can do with hyperlinks. It certainly opens up your workbook to be a little bit more dynamic. So it's a great tool, and we're going to take a look at a few of these ways to navigate from a single workbook. In the first exercise, Project 4A, I've opened up the PS accounts and have named it already, and in this we are going to insert a hyperlink to a company, and we're going to put this actually in cell A13, and the company is going to be to a fictitious company, so we're actually going to be sending it, having the hyperlink go to a website that's the publisher's website, which is Paradigm. We're going to begin by inserting this hyperlink in cell A13, and to insert hyperlinks we're going to go to the Insert tab. In the Links group we're going to choose Hyperlink. That brings up the Insert Hyperlink dialog box, and within that we are going to make sure that we're on the existing file or web page, because we are going out to a web page, and we're going to go to the address line and we're going to type in www.emcp.com. That's the name of the publisher's website. And then in the text to display at the top, rather than having the email address, we're actually going to type in company information. The screen tip that we want to display is going to say view the company website. Okay, now click OK out of that. That takes you back to the Insert Hyperlink dialog box, and from there we'll close out of it by clicking OK. Now you'll notice the text that's going to display that we put in the, not the screen tip, but the text to display text box. That's what appears in cell A13. Blue text underscore, that's a typical universal way to indicate that it is a hyperlink. So when you click on that, that should take you out to the Paradigm's website. If I can get this. Anyway, this is their website, so you can review that, do whatever you want, but it does take you to their website. So I'm going to close out of that. And that'll take us back to the worksheet. In addition to creating to a website, we can also link to another workbook, and we're going to link to a workbook that's in our Chapter 6 folder. So we're going to place that in cell A11, and we're actually going to put in the text first, and then we'll go back to A11. We're going to make that text a hyperlink that will go out to the PS Sales Analysis workbook. So again, if we go back to the Insert tab, Links group, and then Hyperlink, notice the text to display is what's in the current cell, so we don't have to type anything in there since it's already in. Then we're going to go, again, we're in existing file category on the left. We're going to look in the folder, the Chapter 6 folder, and the name of the file that we want to pull up is the PS Sales Analysis. So just select that. Notice the address pops in when you click on it, and then we're going to click OK. Notice that becomes blue because we haven't clicked in on it. Notice the previous link that we've already clicked and gone to turned to purple. That's an indicator that you've already visited that site. So now we click on the blue text, the hyperlink, and that will take us to the PS Sales Analysis workbook. And from there, again, you can review it, close out of it. And again, that turned back to purple text because we have viewed that particular site. The next few items that on pages 224 and 225 explain how you can link to another place in the workbook. You can link to a new workbook, a new document. You can also link to any of these items that we've talked about previously, whether it be a workbook or a website, whatever, using a graphic. They explain that at the top of page 225. And then finally, the second paragraph at the top shows you or explains how you can link to an email address. In project 4B, we are going to do 3 of those. We're going to link to a place in a workbook, so an existing workbook where we are right now. We're going to link to another cell in the workbook, actually to another sheet, and then we are going to also link to another workbook, and we're going to link to another area using a graphic. So a couple of new things in this particular exercise. First off, we're going to create a link from the checks amount, which is in cell B6. Okay, the checks amount in January. And we're going to link that to the check amount in G20 that's located in the January sheet. So I'm going to click on January for just a minute. And you can see where G20 is located. Right there. Okay, so we're going to link to that cell. So we're going to go back to the summary sheet. In cell B6, we're going to make that a hyperlink. So again, Insert tab, Links group, hyperlink. This time in our Insert Hyperlink dialog box, on the left, we want to choose the place in this document. When you do that, that provides you with a cell reference that you can key in, which will be our G20. But also notice in the middle there, it gives you options as to what sheet you can place it in, or if you have cell names already created or range names, you can use that as well. Okay, so we're going to link this to G20, and it's going to be in the January sheet. So we'll click on that and then click OK. And again, you can see that's a hyperlink. If I click on that, that'll take me to January G2. We're going to take similar steps. This will be repetition, but we'll go back to the summary sheet. We're going to do the same thing for the deposited amount. We're going to create a hyperlink that will go to February's G20. Same thing for that. And then the summary sheet, create a hyperlink to go to March's G20. So back in the summary sheet, again, to create a hyperlink, and I'm going to use the shortcut menu to do this. I'm going to right click in that cell. At the very bottom of your menu there is hyperlink. And that will get us back into the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. We still want to go to G20, but this time we want to go to February. And then again, click OK. Do the same thing for B8. Again, I'm going to right click. The bottom of that drop down menu is hyperlink. We're going to cell G20, and this time it's in the March worksheet. So again, I'm going to click OK. And you can test these. We'll try the last one, B8. That should take you to the March sheet, cell G20. Now we're going to use an image. We're going to use an image that links us out to the EMCP website, the company's website, supposedly. So any one of these, if you'll notice, these are all separate graphics, but we're going to use the first pyramid graphic image and link that to the EMCP website. So again, I'm going to right click. This one you might be able to see hyperlink. That'll bring up the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. Again, on the left hand side, we're going to an existing web page, and the address www.empc. The screen tip at the top, we want it to be visit. Let me pull this up here so you can see it. Visit the company website. Press enter or click OK. And then we'll click OK out of that. And then you can click outside of that, and then to test it, go back to, and honestly, you probably need to have some kind of indicator, maybe than other, just the screen tip. You may need a text box or something that identifies that graphic as being a hyperlink, because otherwise, unless the users just happen to go over that graphic, they would not know that that's a hyperlink. You know, when you lay your mouse on it, it changes to a finger, but when you actually click on it, then it should go out to the company's website, or EMCP for this particular example. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to take a look at how we can modify an existing hyperlink. And to modify a hyperlink, we're going to go back to the original one, not original one, but one we've done previously, the semi-annual sales. We're going to modify that so that it has different text in the cell, and also the screen tip is going to have something in there that's a little bit better than what we have for the default that's in there now. So we're going to go ahead and right click on the hyperlink that you want to modify, and in your menu you should see Edit Hyperlink. That'll bring up that Edit Hyperlink dialog box, which is very similar to what we saw with the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. And this time, keep the same address. The text to display, rather than it saying semi-annual sales, we want it to say customer sales analysis. And the screen tip that we're going to use is click. Let's see if you can see this. Click this hyperlink to display workbook containing customer sales, and spell correctly, analysis. Okay, and then we'll click OK. And then when you lay your mouse on that, notice the screen tip that we've changed and added, and also the text in the cell is actually changed. But if we click on that, that will take us and open us to the same workbook that we had set for it previously. And I'll go ahead and close out of that. Something else that you can do with the hyperlink is you can edit the text itself. And to do that, to edit that, we're going to click on, when you click on A11, it makes it kind of hard because it goes out to your website. But if you want to modify the text in there, you could right click on the hyperlink and then just press escape, and that will keep that cell active. And then if you want to change the font color and do some other things here, you can certainly do that. I'll just show you how you can make the change. If you wanted to bold it, you can see how it brings the bold alive, or you can change the coloring of it as well. So any of those methods, it's still a hyperlink though. When I click outside of it and lay my mouse on it, it will still hyperlink out to the company website. If you want to delete the hyperlink on any of these, you can just right click on it, choose Remove Hyperlink, and it automatically then changes it back to text. And I'll go ahead and close out of this workbook because we won't need it for Project 5.